What is up, YouTube? Zuki M1 here, and I am back with a brand new YouTube video. Today we are going to be showcasing you guys my armor rush deck for EX7. So this deck is going to be utilizing some really old cards from BT8 roughly, and some new cards that we're going to showcase for you guys today. So right off the bat, the egg that we are going to be running in our armor rush deck is going to be the Digimon. It has the alternate effects. While this Digimon has 2 or more colors, it gains 1000 DP. Very simple, straightforward effect. Nothing complicated, right? All of your top end is going to be your level 4s. As you can see, there are no Magnamon X antibodies, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get flamed to all holy hell. I'll talk about that later at the end of the video, but just know we are not running anything more than just the level 4s. This whole deck is just really just meant to aggro your opponent as quickly as humanly possible. By turn 2, you're able to deal somewhat, sometimes upwards to about 3 to 4 damage sometimes, depending. But regardless, I'll get into it. Just know we don't run anything higher than 4. So this card is insanely good with these guys because they make them have more value essentially. Next, we're going to be running the jamming Vmon from BT3. It's exactly what I just said. The whole effect, everything about it is just jamming. The reason why we're doing that is because once you swing with the jam, you're suspended, right? Then you can trigger your dual tamer, Davis and Ken, when you digivolve into one of your level 4s to tap them to unsuspend to swing again. Then you can trigger your armor texture, pop the lid off. That's what we like to use when we talk about armor, but you can remove that armor form, digivolve into another armor form, and then you can unsuspend again because of armor texture and get another check. So you just did 3 checks without any interruptions. And if you got a fire rocket, that makes it even better because then you can swing, digivolve into one of your armor forms, activate fire rocket, swing for 2 checks. And mind you, the jamming Vmon is underneath. So if you if you armor purge, this is still swinging with 2 checks with jamming. And then you can either you won't be able to digivolve again with this if you had to armor purge. But if you didn't, then you can just activate this to go into a different form, swing for 2 more checks, and you did 5 damage that turn. But again, this is just depending on how much memory you have, what your setup, and so on and so forth. So the jamming V is absolutely necessary for an early aggro deck like this. Next, we're running the EX1 Vmons. Similar fashion, you get benefits for just swinging with this because whenever you armor texture or use the dual tamer, it unsuspend, and then when you unsuspend, you gain a memory. Because of the training cards, which is insanely valuable in this deck, it makes all of these forms basically free except the Magnamon. The Magnamon itself costs 1, right? So everything else is free, and then the Magnamon costs 1. So a lot of damage and a lot of value. Next, we are running the searching Vmons. This one is just straightforward, right? You're just going to search for one of your free trait Digimons, add it to your hand. This does not discriminate. It could grab its own Vmons, or it can grab one of the armor forms, which you absolutely need in this deck. Unfortunately, this is before they started giving options types. So these 2 you wouldn't be able to grab, but everything else for the most part except Davis, Ken, and this stuff. So like all of this bottom half, you wouldn't be able to search off of it, but everything else up here is searchable, right? So you can grab whatever you need. This allows you to reload essentially to grab more armor forms to just constantly just keep swinging, purge, swing, purge, swing, purge, swing, purge. Next, we are running the BT16 Vmon. It has the effect your turn when they seize a free or a Digimon Digivolve into a free trait Digimon, gain 1 memory. So just extra value that you can get. And again, because armor texture, if it gets hit out of security, it can play this out for free, so you can gain even more free memory to do more plays and stuff like that. So a lot of times you'll see you get a lot of free memory in this deck because of this guy, because of this guy, because of these guys, and because of this card just being insanely valuable in this deck, like I mentioned before. So that's it for the rookies. We're running 16. Obviously, this is just a 3 and a 4 deck. It is Armor Rush. We are trying to kill you. We are not trying to have a big back and forth gameplay. We're not trying to, go to turn 3, turn 4, turn 5. We're not trying to get that far in the game, right? We're just trying to rush you down as quickly as possible before you're allowed to set up your board, and then try to kill you within 2 or 3 turns. So next, we are running the BT8 Flamemons. The BT8 Flamemons are still insanely good. It has the effect of when attacking, this Digimon gains 3k DP. So if you armor purge, your Digimon underneath will still keep that 3k DP. Or if you armor texture, then that Digimon you Digivolve into will also keep that 3k DP. So that makes it even easier to trigger like the new Flamemons to raid into their big Digimons and kill them and remove a card from their security. Armor texture, go into another Flamemon and do it again. So you can remove a lot of cards on their side of the board while also removing cards from their field. So this just creates so much versatility, and the reason why we even built this deck in the first place, to be honest, because this one card opened up so many avenues that this deck did not have before, which was removal. You could have ran like other options to try to remove and stuff like that, but I felt like it was really bricky and it just did not serve the purpose of what you were trying to accomplish with the deck. Next, we are running the BT8 Magnamon. It has the effect of when Digivolve and unsuspend this Digimon. So that's super important because it unsuspend itself without you needing to do anything at all. So you can swing with the Jamming Vmon, Digivolve into this Magnamon, unsuspend, swing again to deal extra damage, and then it gains 2k DP for every armor texture armor form in your trash. So we got 4, 8, including itself 12, 16 armor forms to be able to use. And one of the games that I was testing, it got up to like 4,600 DP. I've never seen a Digimon ever get that big before, but sometimes that can just happen because this Magnamon just doesn't have a cap on how much DP it can gain. So the next one we're going to be looking at is Ligermon. Ligermon is the only one that works in conjunction with the BT8 Davis Kin. So sometimes you're going to want to, if you're using the EX1 or the structure deck Vmon, you can Digivolve in the back, then go into Ligermon, and if you have a Davis Kin, you'll promote. You'll guarantee at least 3 memory for yourself because you'll gain 2, one for the blue color and one for the green color. So does come up sometimes, and it's the only one that does trigger the Davis Kin, but you really only use this for the unsuspending part because you want to try to swing, unsuspend type of situation, and utilize the fire rockets to deal the extra bit of damage, because those single checks start becoming double checks to deal like insane amounts of damage super early on, and there's very little counterplay to that, especially if you don't have any Digimon on board or anything to prevent me from dealing the damage that I'm dealing to you. So next we're running the BT3 Davis, I don't know how to say his name, but just know we're running the BT3 Davis. Most of the time it's going to be a single hitter. There are a couple times where you might get a double hit out of it, because on play it can search the top 3 cards of your deck and grab a blue Digimon or a green Digimon. Blue and green Digimon. So you can grab any one of these and then add this an inclusion to the the other ones because it's also considered green, obviously, right? So next is the Davidson Kin. I kind of went over it a couple different times in the deck profile already, but essentially, if at the start of your main, so it's only at the start of your main, not the start of your turn. This is at the start of your turn. So when the turn comes over, you automatically go to 3. But with these guys, at the start of your main phase, when you promote from the breeding area, if you promote from the breeding area, the start of your main, it checks your battlefield. If you got a blue Digimon, gain 1. If you got a green Digimon, gain 1. If you got both, then gain 2, right? So very straightforward, real simple. And then if you Digivolve into a 2-colored Digimon, 2 or more colored Digimon, you may tap this tamer to unsuspend that Digimon. So that helps you be able to do those early, even more checks in when you're using the jamming VMons to check into their security early on. We kind of went over this one a little bit already as well, but we're going to cover it as well because you'll see we do have natural red in here, but this card absolutely do not care about what colors you got face up on the board, because it says while you have an armor form in play, you may use this card without meeting the color requirements. Main effect: one of your Digimons with 2 or more colors gain +1 security for the turn, and it's just that simple. The security effect actually does pop up quite a bit, and it's really funny because this actually kills the other Magnamon if it swings. So if it swings and it reveals this out of security, it will pop that Magnamon and he will not get the protection because the option triggers first. So the option will pop his Magnamon and he will be forced to have the armor purge if he wants to protect his Magnamon X antibody. So next we're going to be using the mental training. Very straightforward. All it does is reduce the Digivolution cost by 2 for any blue Digimon. All of these guys are blue, so every single one of these guys get their Digivolution cost reduced by 2, so all of their Digivolutions are free. So whatever memory you're at, just make that first Digivolution is always going to be free, and then the following one is going to cost you. So that makes these armor textures even more valuable. Next, the armor texture, it has the effect of you can, while you have a Digimon with the armor form, you don't have to meet the color requirements. So as long as you didn't have to pop the lid or armor purge, you can activate this card, take that armor form off, and then Digivolve into an armor form. And mind you, it doesn't have to be a different armor form. So let's say I had a Flame Dramon and another Flame Dramon in hand, and I had the Jammin' V. I can swing with the Jammin' V, tap Digivolve into Flame Dramon for 2, and then once I do that, I can tap these guys to unsuspend, swing again. He doesn't die because he checked for 9k, right? Then I activate armor texture, remove the Flame Dramon, and then Digivolve into the other Flame Dramon. Now this does cost you memory to do, not activating the armor texture, but Digivolving into the new form, because you do have to pay the price, but it unsuspends your Digimon. So again, like I mentioned before, if you have one of these face up, your swing with the Vmon, trigger this, go into the Flame Dramon, swing by tapping them, and then activate this to go into another Flame Dramon, swing again, right? Or if you got Fire Rockets, you get activated on the first Flame Dramon, swing for 2 checks at 9k. If he dies, then it won't be 5k, it'd be it'd be 5k off the Vmon, because the Vmon gains the 3. So you'll finish the rest of your checks with this would be 9k and this would become 5k. You finish the rest of the checks, then you can Digivolve into this guy, tapping them to unsuspend or activating this. You got a lot of ways to constantly just keep applying pressure, keep dealing damage, and keep doing more. Now, for those of you guys who are going to come to the video and flame the living hell out of me about not having Magnamon X antibody, please understand I did have that card in here at first, the biggest issue about having Magnamon X Antibody in his deck is that he cannot Digivolve over just any armor form. He has to specifically Digivolve over just the Magnamon. So if you're running an armor rush deck, he cannot be utilized to the fullest potential in this deck. If you want to, you can put like maybe 1 or 2, but please understand that card is not going to synergize well with this style of gameplay, right? I'm not trying to get to a late game. I'm not trying to fight you for a long period of time. I want to get in, deal damage as quickly as possible, and get out. I am not trying to go for a very long, drawn out game, right? So you really want to make sure that when you're crafting an armor rush deck, specifically armor rush, you are not putting in cards that is not valuable. Everything in this deck has value. Everything in this deck contributes to your overall goal of you trying to kill them as quickly as humanly possible. So I've went through a lot of testing before I had made this video, and from the initial testing, the Magnamon X Antibody felt awful to use. And initially I was using different types of Vmons, and all of them felt pretty bad. This guy gives you 2k DP from off your inheritable, so this plus this makes 3k, so you're pretty much able to safely always swing, so you can always utilize these armor textures to be able to unsuspend and then be able to swing again. And then obviously, if you don't see the tamers, these cards become extremely valuable when your board state is, like, say for instance, Demi Vmon, Jammin V, pass turn with mental training. Cool. Promote, swing with the Vmon. He lives. Crack this. Digivolve. Oh well, no, you wouldn't crack that in that situation, because in that particular situation you wouldn't gain a lot of value off of it, just only off the fact that he wouldn't be able to do anything unless you had this Magnamon, because then you can crack this, Digivolve over this, go into Magnamon for 1, trigger Fire Rocket, swing for 2 more checks, and you did 3 damage on turn 2, right? That's great. That's fantastic value. Amazing. Let's say crack this, Digivolve into this, play this. Cool. Promote, swing. I'm at 2 memory exactly. I swing and he's suspended. I Digivolve into literally any one of these guys except the Magnamon here in this scenario. I'm at 0. They unsuspend. I swing again, and then I did 2 damage, and I still have my armor form, so you have to kill me twice to get rid of the body. Otherwise, I'm just going to do the same exact thing in the following turn. And if you pass me with more memory, obviously I have more plays that I can go into. So the deck is very aggro. I'm trying to win as quickly as possible. You always want to go first with this deck, because the quicker you can set up your board to get to the point where you're just swinging, the quicker you can get to that dub. So that is the deck profile. Hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video, and if you did, make sure to hit me with the like and subscribe button. We will have the matches uploaded for you guys tomorrow, so be looking out for that. In the meantime, this has been Zuki and One. Hope you guys have a great morning, great evening, great afternoon, and great night. But I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.